I'd love to deepen with the topic of the menstrual work and calling that's led you into this initiation, because we've been talking about archetypes and the celebration the Apache do in Native peoples do, so they haven't forgotten these traditions. So in what way can modern women celebrate this? Because in my field, some are very open to it, and then
Mm.
some don't understand why this might even be important to them as women nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. I see the whole spectrum as well. I
Mm,
think one of the things I'm learning is to speak to women where they're at and just keep speaking what you're doing and why you feel like it's important. And then I'm finding that when I do that, women are coming that need it and are
mm,
looking for it. They come. Sometimes women get very confrontational and they're like, because I talk a lot about one of the core threads of the why I talk about what I'm talking about is really dissecting internalized sexism and menstrual shame and stigma,
mm.
right? So I talk about how that happens, why that happens, how I've experienced it, and how I think, well, okay. So I'm
But
like
like,
that typical Gemini brain. I'm like, oh, I want to talk about all of these things at the same time.
right. We need some more. We'll have more oil if we want.
I know, you're like spray, you're like,
Plentiful.
oh, calmate, Anna, calmate. Um, so the internalized sexism piece is really important, especially because it's internalized. So most of us don't even know that we are experiencing it. So generally, if a woman comes to me, let's say, and she's like, well, I was taught that, the menstrual cycle is, this kind of medical event basically, and that there's nothing shameful about it, blah, 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 but I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad but I'm going well beyond that. I'm glad that you don't feel like you were taught to feel ashamed of your period, but I'm talking about what's important is actually menstrual reverence, is that we actually
Yeah.
honor it. Um, as it's, I mean, at the very base, it's existential. Like humanity cannot survive if women don't menstruate. And I really say that intentionally because we have a very strong menstrual suppression movement happening right now that's
Yeah.
trying to communicate to women that for the modern woman, ultimate liberation is liberation from your own body. And let's do everything we can to try to control and manipulate and suppress the menstrual cycle in ways that are most convenient for us. And that is so against women's bodies. It's so against nature because our bodies are made of cycles. I mean, the whole cosmos is
Yeah.
made of cycles, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that is like the foundational wisdom we can learn from being in touch with our bodies and men's body cycles too, but it's just not in the same obvious way that women's bodies cycle.
Yeah.
More and more medical research coming out about men's hormonal cycles. So I don't want to go into their cycles, but so at the most foundational is we have an innate bodily wisdom that we can teach our communities how to live more consciously when we're conscious with those cycles and what each phase of those cycles means and how to live aligned with those cycles. And then we can remember how those cycles align with the cosmic cycles, the lunar cycles, the planetary cycles, so it is very sacred and very spiritual. And it reminds us of our connection to the whole web of life.
Yeah.
Um, so, there's a health aspect, but there's a sacred aspect. It's a remembering. So something that I came to understand very deeply and profoundly 10 years into this journey, a couple months ago, was again, I was in India and I had this very powerful transmission from tantric goddess Lalita. And of course, I went into the temple wanting to have it sitting in front of her, as you do. And like it was beautiful. It was really cool to be in front of her. And the priest led me through a puja. And she's an all black goddess, which is really cool and
Oh, I
very
love
beautiful.
that. That is very
Yes.
Nana and Kali, isn't it?
Yeah, she's,
And Black Madonna.
she's
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And probably depending on the tradition, because I think there's probably many
Mm.
techniques and traditions coming out of the Lita. Like I'm sure there's a relationship to Kali. I mean, I think they're both could be Mahavidyas, depending again on the top particular tradition.
Yeah.
So, okay, without diving too deep into that part, like, so the priest has you touch her womb because she is the goddess of eroticism, all erotic, not just in our bodies, but the world is erotic,
Yeah.
right? And so that's how you receive the transmission. And I was like, this is cool. But then I walked around out of the temple, around the corner, up these stairs and into this outside corridor. And I was with my friend and we're just kind of blah, blah, blah. And I kind of look out at the Ganges and then I turn around and all of a sudden I'm like, this close as I am to you right now, to a mirror in my face.
Yeah.
And it was just like me, and it was me in that, but it wasn't me, but it was, everything happened so quick. It was like behind me, looking through my eyes was the goddess Lolita looking at me. And
Oh,
I was just like,
all over my body.
yeah, I was like, it was so quick and so all consuming and powerful. It was the first time that I understood that the goddess is inside of me, all of us. It's not special to me. And
Hmm.
it's like, of course, I knew that intellectually. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm reading about that.
Yeah.
But I felt it. I felt her power inside of me. Right. And I was like, oh my God, 12 years I've been looking for the goddess through graduate school, through pilgrimage, through teaching classes, through taking classes,
Yep.
da, 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 da. And she's here all along. Right. And so I was like, and then it was from that feeling the power of the goddess. And when I say the power of the goddess, it can only be experienced because it's the power of the cosmos
Yeah.
inside of you. And it's
Yeah.
so overwhelming that to hold that is almost annihilating, right? So
Yeah.
that's why it was only a millisecond. And I'm crying, and then I take a few days to integrate it, and I'm telling another friend, and I was like, you know what? The reason, like, I thought the problem was menstrual shame. I thought that was the big problem that women were dealing with because
Yeah.
that was my problem. But I realized that menstrual shame and internalized menstrual stigma is only a symptom of the problem, and that the real problem is that women are not taught that this is our divine inheritance, that the sacred power of the cosmos, of the goddess, is inside of our wombs. And when we're not taught that, what fills the void? Feelings of shame, feeling of self-hatred, feelings of I'm not enough, feelings of being a woman is sinful, it's a curse, blah, blah, blah. And all of these menstrual disorders that can arise because we hate our bodies, because we hate our periods. And so that's why the work is really about teaching women how to come home to their bodies through finding that sacred feminine power that's already there, that is your birthright. So that's where the work is right now. And just
Oh, that was a powerful transmission. Thank you so much. And my womb is responding. She's like tingling and cramping, and she's like, "Yep."
oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me share that, because it's just,
Yeah.
it's really, it's almost impossible to put into words that experience. So when I have the spaciousness to just let it come out however it wants to, I just am really grateful. So thank you.
Mm. Thank you for walking this path as a red woman, as a full priestess as well, or whatever, I mean, naming or whatever you walk as this embodiment or what you call yourself as, like in the end, it is your eternal presence here on earth, being the vessel to women, transmitting this powerful message. And your experience is just so glorious. It's just so
Mhm.
beautiful. I really,
Thank you.
really, yeah, feel that. Thank you so much for sharing.
And and thank you for recognizing that. I think, also part of it is like really recognizing sisterhood. And and I know that that's part of your work with the red tent, right? Is
Yeah.
like really cultivating and nurturing sisterhood, because it's our sisters that teach us and that will remind us when we forget of our true nature, who will support us, who will love us, who will hold us when we're grieving, right? Who will teach us how to find that power. And it's like that's part of the patriarchal programming, is teaching women how to be separate from one another, compete with one another. Um, and so it's like really a radical act to cultivate sisterhood
Yeah.
in ways that are actually supporting and nurturing and not reinforcing the competitiveness. It's
Yeah.
really hard. It's really hard. I mean, like, let's just be honest. It's really hard, even in the spiritual communities, not to reinforce those behaviors.
Absolutely. Yes. And I really thank you for naming that, because I can see it in other women, I can see it in myself. And of course it's been a journey. And this is something I was thinking about earlier. Can I just sit with what is real? And can I just sit with not judging it, but like, okay, this is something I can work on. Like I need to get better here. And it's completely
Mm.
see, and I like you use this word I love, the annihilation of the ego. Like, can we be this very like human, earth-like and egoic, almost egoic essence? Is a person an ego like here on earth, but can we move past that and almost in a way transcend this experience of what's been probably indoctrinated in us, a fear of
Yes.
struggle, you know, just yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think those are great questions. And if we can't annihilate it, it's like maybe we can annihilate its hold on us. So
Yeah.
it's like there, but it's like, like I'm so much bigger than like this limited fear monger inside of me. Like, okay, you can share what's going on, but like I'm not going to buy into that
Yeah,
line of,
I love
you
that.
know, yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Terrorism, fear terrorism.
Yeah. Yeah, some very, very good and powerful charged words today. We're using.
I know. I'm just
Yeah.
like going for it. I'm like, you're inner terrorists because we have them inside of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is what will, I would say, ultimately heal the world, but like in the presence of now, if you can transmit this compassion, the sisterhood and the love and the support, that's what's making the shift. Even like the little changes in behavior or extending a hand, and I think that is the most beautiful experience we can do. So these little acts actually shift the long-term outcome, because we have to do it for the women who are to come, for our daughters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And something that's coming to me now because it's really been up in conversations with women the last few days is like finding a way to forgive our mothers for what they couldn't give us, and
Mhm.
that's really charged for a lot of women, really
Yeah.
charged. It doesn't mean that we have to, you know, be, condone certain behaviors,
Yeah.
but I think recognizing it that in a lot of cases they did the best they could with circumstances that were just as awful or worse than our own. And nobody gives parents a training manual. And maybe find compassion for our mothers and our grandmothers, and
Yeah.
that's how we'll heal too.
And it ties into what you said earlier, like giving gratitude for life, because we also, and all of us came from a womb, and can have a human relationship with that person, but we came from a womb, and that is a fact. And we can never change that. Women are the ones who give birth. Women are the ones who are fertile. Women are the ones with the blood, the sacred, holy elixir of menstrual blood.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm. So I would love for you, Anna, to share anything that's on your mind, maybe you're offering.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, my big baby right now is the book, which will be coming out next year.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to be hosting or taking women on pilgrimage to Mary Magdalene Sacred Sites next May 2025 in
Mhm.
the south of France. I've been planning this for 10 years, so it's really like,
Ah, woo, I can feel it.
I know, I'm just like, it's finally coming to fruition.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, we'll be looking at our different archetypes. We'll be and looking at sacred feminine power and the ways that we can come home to ourselves as women through these archetypes, through walking the land, through sisterhood,
Yeah.
you know, nourishment, the food we'll be eating. So that will be taking place next May. And if women are curious to learn more, they can go to my website.
Yeah.
I have more information and they can
Huh?
sign up for the wait.
And what is your website you want to share?
Yes, so there's two links, but I'll tell you the easiest, annalisaderr.com. So
Mhm.
it's my name.com. Yeah, thank you for letting me share that. And I really look forward to receiving any of you that are curious and want to learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
really special to be able to find embodied ways to share this work with women because
Mm.
as you know, and
Yeah.
we'll know more soon, like being in the graduate school intellectual space
Yeah.
has its place and it's fulfilling in its own way, but it's also mm, our graduate schools kind of tend to leave out the bodied. So it's
Um,
really important to take the wisdom into the body and into the world. So
it's almost like this Hiros Gamos of embodiment, like logos and mind, like logos and
yeah,
body, and
yes.
almost masculine and feminine, but transcending those words as well. So we have the human experience and we have the mystical experience.
Yes, exactly. Very beautifully said. Yes. Yes. Both are important. They both have their place, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And
absolutely. It was,
mhm.
I was thinking earlier, men are like the sun, right? They rise and set every day. That's their hormonal cycle. And women are the earth. We have seasons that are much longer, and you give a woman a seed and she brings you a child, or you give Mother Earth a seed and she'll grow you food in a forest. And so we are equal in value, but we are different. And this is important to know. We are different planets that complement
Yeah,
each other.
exactly. Complementary, but like we need each other, right?
Yeah,
Like the earth needs the sun to nourish her and to, penetrate her really with these. I have a hard time with that word, but it's kind of what the sun's doing with its rays, nourishing her with these rays of
yeah.
sun, to help facilitate life. So yeah, both are needed.
Mm. It's
Yeah.
interesting. I've also had a journey with this word, and now I really I really love it. I really love this word now. But it can
Yeah.
be, yeah, like submission and all these words that we've like had attached a different meaning to, cause really
Mhm.
visceral bodily reaction, Um,
Absolutely. Because they've been used in different ways to
yeah,
hurt,
yeah,
but we can reclaim them as like powerful and enlivening and
yeah, yeah,
sensual and healthy. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm. And just like one word or sentence on men, their ability maybe to penetrate energy and to create through their penetration, whereas women create through their experiential experience in the aura of the womb. Yeah, I think this
Yeah.
work, like you mentioned earlier in our conversation, this work is so pivotal also for men to know and for to share because they are curious about it and they can be better fathers, husbands, lovers if they
Yes.
know and just know and are present with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I 100% agree.
Mm.
And, one of the things that's kind of helped me reframe masculine and feminine relations or male female relations, masculine feminine energy, et cetera, is actually the more I learn about Hinduism and the Hindu worldview, right? And like especially Tantra. And I've just like, you know, want to be really respectful that it's not my culture.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a student,
Yeah.
lifelong student of Tantra. The books, I have them here, and classes. And so, but the way that I understand it, right, is that Shakti means life force, power, it's energy. Shakti is dynamic. She is actually the active force of the cosmos. She's
Mm.
the seen and the unseen. She is the whole entire cosmos. The womb, the cosmos is her womb, everything in it. and that the divine masculine Shiva is awareness, universal mind, universal awareness. So he is the consciousness that penetrates or that abides itself within the feminine cosmos. So that is their like eternal dance together. So it's like that's kind of another way for me to think about what you brought up, the sun and the earth. Those are kind of like, these are like the cosmic masculine and feminine principle version of the sun and the moon. And so I think that that really helps me kind of reclaim also how I think of the woman, feminine, and the woman is like, you know, the whole kind of, what did I say earlier? Tapestry, the capacity of this power that we embody, because think about birth. Birth is so powerful. It
Mhm.
is so forceful and powerful. And I had multiple women tell me that that is when they have felt the divine feminine in their body through the process of giving birth. And
Yeah.
so I think that that's really important to remember, is that the feminine is many, many, many things. And I love the idea of the masculine just kind of like holding and protecting and just loving on the feminine through this universal mind, universal awareness. That is their eternal tantric dance.
Yeah. And we need that. We need that father energy. We need that
Yeah.
creation, masculine energy.
Yes. Yeah.
Just-
They're not inseparable.
Yeah.
So, oh.
And all right, Annalisa, thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming on. I feel so nourished anytime I sit down with a woman. I want to go on and on. And I've been inspired to really come to Greece and go to Greece and meet you in person, and we'll have a jolly time. And
Definitely. Come, yes.
yeah,
And if anyone else is interested, if I
yeah,
get enough interested, I will start doing goddess tours here too. But
yeah.
you come and commune with me and we'll just,
Well,
you know,
yeah, we'll do
together.
something for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Any closing words? Is there something like one word maybe you take from away from today's conversation?
Nourished,
Yeah.
nourished. I feel nourished, which is one of my wounds, I would say, in all areas of my life. So I feel nourished. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, nourishment for me too.
Mm.
Thank you everyone for your beautiful time, your presence, your eyes and ears for listening, and your feeling body for taking in these transmissions. Thank you so much, Annalisa, and see you soon.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Maxime. Bye.